So in this episode, we're going to be talking about FinCon 18. I'm going to be doing a review, but also talking a little bit more about FinCon. We're going to be going over what FinCon is, who it's for, some of the benefits, if it's worth going, and then some advice that I have if you are interested. So stick around to the end so that way you can learn all about FinCon. So today's episode is sponsored by FinCon themselves, but all of the opinions in this video are that of my own. You can actually even check out some of my previous videos leading up to the event to really kind of understand how excited I was for this conference. And now what you can do is stick around to the very end so you can get, again, all that great information that I'm going to have for you in this video coming up. So before attending my very first FinCon, I was already ecstatic about actually going and being part of this community. It is such a great community of very like-minded individuals. We'll get more into that in a little bit, but I was just so enthralled with everything that they had to offer when it comes to being able to build inside of this community. I just already felt like I was at home, like I was around the people that I was meant to be around. And the coolest thing about FinCon is it's really all about being cooperative with each other and not competitive. And that's a very important factor to really take into when it comes to, being part of any kind of community or industry, is that you really want to feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself instead of feeling like you're on your own and, just having to fight for yourself. So FinCon, what is it really all about? So FinCon is where money and media meet. Now that is their slogan, so I didn't come up with that myself, but it is really where all these different types of people from all over, from all different mediums, whether it's podcasting, YouTubing, or blogging, can all come together to be able to work with one another, be able to meet one another and collaborate and go into these amazing sessions that they have for you. So the conference is typically 4 days long, and the way it works is that there are different types of workshops that you can attend, sessions that you can go to, big keynotes that you get to be part of, and then actually get to meet a whole bunch of different people with different types of events and then collaborations that are going on throughout those full 4 days. Now real quick, for me personally, I actually went there 1 day early. They had a few extra events that were not necessarily part of the actual FinCon, but a lot of different people in the communities had different types of events going on. So I got there a day early because I didn't want to miss a single thing. And I could tell you from my own experience that from the extra day that I went until the very last minute of FinCon, I got every single moment I could with every single person in this community. It was amazing to be able to be part of it, to be able to really honestly hone in on being able to be around so many like-minded individuals. So it's not going to be where it's like 4 days of possibly doing a few things here and there. It's a jam-packed set of 4 days. So you got to really prepare yourself for that kind of mindset of being able to go in and getting as much content and as much value from helping build relationships in that small amount of time frame. Of course, the other big question is going to be, who is FinCon really for? Now, of course, as I mentioned, it's where media and money meet, but that can really be a whole slew of different types of people. Now, there are brands that do come to this conference. So if you are a brand and you do want to be able to connect with other types of influencers, whether it's YouTubers or podcasters or bloggers, this is definitely a place for you to be able to come and join us. And then for everybody else, if you are an influencer or you are somebody that wants to get started, this is going to be such a great place for you to get started, because everybody here has the same goals to be able to help one another be able to achieve great things for their audience members and be able to pass on some great information. So if you by any chance are somebody that's either starting a YouTube channel, starting a podcast, or starting a blog, and you really want to kind of start building up that audience and start building up your network, this is going to be the place to go. This is going to be where you honestly can get together with so many other people. Now, I know a lot of times people see those like bigger YouTubers or bigger bloggers or bigger podcasters, and yes, they are there, but it's really all about the other people around as well too. It's the people that you can connect with that are either in the same path as you or just a little bit ahead of you that can really help you jumpstart to the next level on your platform. What are some of the benefits of actually going to this type of conference? Now, as I mentioned, there's a lot of great things when it comes to actually going to the event, such as the sessions or the workshops. But what it really is when it comes down to the very core for this conference is all about the building of relationships. Now, you do meet a ton of people at this conference, and there are a lot of people that are introverts and there's a lot of people that are also extroverts. And so all of these people kind of gather together, but the great thing is we have one very similar thing in common. We all love talking about money. So it's a very easy way to be able to get started with conversations. Just meet random people in the hallways and be able to just talk to one another and actually build these relationships. You get to meet people that you can either help out in the future or they can help you out later down the road as well. And what you really want to do when it comes to being able to network with all these people is really get to understand who they are and what their goals are. So that was one of my biggest things when it came to going to this conference, was I did really want to make sure that I built relationships more than anything else. I did go to some some sessions. I did miss out on a lot of sessions, and that's going to come down a little bit later as to why, but it's really all about that network of being able to understand one another and be able to help one another achieve bigger and better things. So aside from building relationships, the other great benefits of this conference is being able to meet with brands. Now, if you are somebody that's wanting to take your blog or podcast or YouTube channel to the next level, this can be something that can actually help you monetize your channel. And that's not necessarily a bad thing to want to do if you're trying to help other people. Now, this was one of my biggest struggles when it came to actually starting this YouTube channel, was trying to understand how can I make money by trying to teach other people to save money. So that little struggle for me was a really hard thing to overcome, but understanding that the more people that I can help out is only dictated based off of how much I can actually put into this business to help it grow. So the more that this channel makes, the more that TruFinancials earns, it can actually go back into the business itself to be able to reach a larger audience, to be able to help more people. So if you don't think that monetizing is as important as it is, it really can help your brand and your business to be able to grow exponentially, to be able to reach a bigger audience. And that's of course very important because you can deliver that value that you would really like to help other people with in a much broader sense than just helping one person at a time, because that's only going to do so much versus you being able to help so many more people. So connecting with these brands to be able to build relationships, to be able to help other people can go a very long way. And that's one of the greatest benefits of FinCon. So for me, the biggest benefits were not only building relationships with brands, because that's of course going to be important for the long term when it comes to sustaining this channel, but also building relationships with those other people, having the opportunity to interview people at this conference, such as Michelle, which I recently did an interview with her. I'll link up in here that you can check that out after this video is completed, but then also to different other collaborators, whether there's somebody that's a podcaster or a blogger that really wants to kind of integrate some video into their content. I got to work with them, got to have conversations, and really get to understand these other people and what their goals are for their future and their platform to be able to help their audience members. So one of the biggest questions that might come up, because if you look at the cost for the ticket, the flight, the hotel, all the travel expenses, is it really worth going to FinCon when it comes to managing your budget? Because of course we're all about managing our money and being able to understand what something is worth versus what something is not worth. And I believe here on the TruFinancials channel we have a lot of great people who understand that what you put your money into, you'll get out of it, right? So if you are interested in investing your money versus spending your money, you're going to get a lot more out of that investing typically than you do out of your spending. So FinCon is an investment through and through. So if you actually look at it from an investment standpoint, whether it's for your own business or for your own education, it can really go a long way, because if you look at the price of the ticket and the flights and everything else included, how much can you actually get back in value, whether it's monetary or knowledge? Because if you look at it from that standpoint, you can gain so much ROI on just going to this one trip. I wholeheartedly believe that going to FinCon can be worth it for any single person if your intention is to help continue to grow for your own audience, or even for yourself as well, because the more knowledge that you continue to gain, the more valuable that you become for your audience. So for me, FinCon was 110% worth the cost to actually go to the event. Not only because I built those relationships with some of the brands to be able to help generate an income for this business, but then also to the relationships that I built with other people is through and through the best valuable thing that I got, and as well as some of the education that I got from some of the sessions that I was able to attend to. Of course, being a money nerd, you can actually cut your costs by quite a bit. Now think of it like this: you can actually cut your costs on the hotel by rooming up with a couple other people. You can look at booking really cheap flights if you wanted to, or even driving to the event if it's close to your area, because FinCon does move every single year. But also too, you can even look at purchasing your tickets earlier in the year rather than as closer to the event as possible, because when you get closer to the event, the tickets do go up in cost. So if you are interested, make sure that you buy your ticket earlier in the year so that way you can get as much of that savings as possible. And you can transfer your ticket if you end up not being able to go, which I hope is not the case, but that is always a possibility if needed. So before we get into the advice portion and the rest of this review, I will have a link to FinCon's website in the description box down below. You can check that out so you can get a lot more information on FinCon. But if you have any additional questions that maybe aren't answered here in this video, let me know in the comment section down below, or you can email me at trufinancials@gmail.com. I will be more than happy to help you out when it comes to actually being able to answer any questions that you might have that maybe I didn't answer in this particular video. So as you can tell, I am very excited about FinCon. I was so excited to be able to go to my very first one in Orlando in 2018. But overall, I think this was probably one of the best events I was ever able to attend. The ROI that I got got on being able to attend this, bar none, is probably the best deal I've ever gotten. Being able to meet these people one-on-one, being able to actually work with brands in person, in face-to-face instead of just online, was something that you can't really get anywhere else. Now, for me personally, I was just already enthralled in the community. As I mentioned earlier, I was already on the forums. I was already on the Twitter. I was already everywhere that FinCon was, so that way I can communicate with people. I can build those relationships before even being able to meet every single person. Now, for me, I think it was definitely worth going. I believe that if you are intentional about wanting to grow your business, if you are interested in being able to share your story and to share what you know, this is definitely a place for you to be able to attend. So all these different people from all these different mediums come together, and it really was amazing to be able to see everybody connect and build relationships and work together to be able to help other people, whether it's on one platform or another. So some of my advice when it comes to actually going to this conference is, first and foremost, really knowing what it is all about, which is great if you're watching this video, because I definitely learned a lot when it came to actually finding out about the conference. But one of the other biggest tips is, when going, really put yourself out there at this conference. It could be really overwhelming on your first day there because there are so many people. I'm kind of a natural extrovert when it comes to being able to chat with people and have conversations. And even on my first day, I was a little held back on being able to really talk to people. But the moment you really start building those relationships, going up to random people and just saying hi and asking what they're doing and what brings them to FinCon, really, really opens up that communication, and you start to understand all these other people. Then somebody else comes up that knows them, and you guys all start talking, and then you get to meet and greet a whole bunch of other people. And then you really start building your network of understanding who somebody is, what they work for, and what their goals are. And you are able to actually either help them out directly or even indirectly if you know other people that can work with one another. And that's one of the greatest things when it comes to FinCon, is maybe you don't meet someone directly that is beneficial for you, but you might know somebody else that can really benefit from their work. And so that's all about collaboration and not competition. And that's one of my favorite things about FinCon itself. Another great tip when it comes to FinCon is knowing that you're going to be going to sleep late and waking up really early. Like I mentioned, the 4 days are jam-packed with a whole bunch of stuff. So you want to make sure that you're getting as much as you can from every single day. So there are people that are hanging out at the end of the days in the lobbies talking about a whole bunch of random things. I was actually getting to do that with a couple other great influencers, just sitting at the lobbies every single night and just getting to have great conversations. And they have some great opportunities early in the mornings with some great sessions. So you want to make sure that you're back up and running for that next day. One real quick thing too is you are going to talk a whole lot, and you're going to be raising your voice because there are so many great conversations going on. Bring some cough drops, because those things will be a lifesaver. I promise you. I brought some because I heard about it before, and I was very thankful that I brought some, because I almost ended up losing my voice probably 3 separate times. So for me personally, as I mentioned, I was going to FinCon to really build relationships, and I think that's probably the best thing to go for, especially on your very first FinCon, is to really just build relationships with people in the community, really understanding kind of where other people are, what their goals are, and being able to help one another. So for me, that was the main goal. My second goal was to work with brands, so that way I can help grow this channel that much more. But overall, I just think that focusing on relationships is going to be the most critical thing that you can do at FinCon. So one of my favorite pieces of advice that I got prior to going into this conference, and that I really took to heart, was understanding that if you are in some great conversations and you're about to miss one of your sessions or workshops or one of those keynotes, just continue on with that great conversation and just keep going with it, because one, that relationship can build even stronger, and then two, they actually do have a virtual pass, so you can actually watch all the prior sessions even if you had to miss a couple of them. Now the great thing is they do sell this virtual pass on its own, and if you are interested, you can actually even buy it for yourself even if you didn't attend FinCon. I will have a link to that virtual pass for FinCon 18 down in the description box down below. One of the great sessions in the virtual pass was actually from Troy and Sarah from Dollar Dude and Budget Girl, where they actually teach you how to start YouTube. So if you are interested in actually starting that, you can actually check that out in that virtual pass with everything else that's included in there as well. So in quick recap, I absolutely love FinCon, was really excited to be able to go, really happy that I ended up attending and got so much out of this conference that I was so excited to be able to share this information with you guys. Now again, we did go over what FinCon is, who it's for, what some of the benefits are, if it was worth going, and then of course some of that advice mixed in between as well as the review. So if you enjoyed this video, please share this out with somebody else that may be interested in coming to FinCon in the future. And then if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to hit that like button, and thank you so much, fellow wealth builders, for watching, and have a great day. All right, if you made it to the end of this video, I have 2 more here for you to continue watching. The top video is going to be my most recent release, and then this bottom video is going to be the one that YouTube recommends for you if you'd like to continue watching.